All right, so today we got Tyler. He's from Wichita Falls, Texas, and he's in HVAC, right? Makes $42,000 a year. He says he's tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and he wants to know how he can get rich fast, but not in a sleazy, sketchy way like they're pushing online, right? So, number one thing is we're going to work on our mindset, right? Because obviously, if you get pushed into the trades, in school, they're basically telling you, you're not smart enough, you're getting B's and C's and D's, that kind of thing. Well, we're going to overcome that programming that you've had for 18 years that tells you you're not smart enough, because you are smart enough. But what we're going to do is we're going to transition our skill into our own business, right? So once you're going to master the trade and learn the business, right? Like I say, it's mindset, skill set, habits, right? So we're going to learn about pricing of jobs. We're going to learn about parts ordering. Where does our place get their parts from? Are there other places to get your parts from? We're going to write all this down, right? We're going to work on our skill set, because from just being a tech to a business owner is a different skill set, right? So we're going to take night classes doing QuickBooks. We're going to learn about marketing, learn about sales, taking classes doing that, right? Obviously, you can, if you don't have time to take classes, you can do YouTube University and find people that are talking about how to do those things, how to do QuickBooks, how to do marketing, and how to do sales on YouTube. Quick, easy, and free, right? But in Texas, they require you to have a HVAC contractor license. So obviously we're going to get the materials for that and study for that, right? But that's the way that you would get rich with the skill set that you have, right? You're not going out and trying to reinvent the wheel there, but you're going to mindset, skill set, and habits your way to making more money by making your own business, right? Business owners are the people that are rich in this world. There are, people that are or at least rich fast, right? Rich within 5 to 10 years, right? And the reason most businesses fail is because of debt, right? So we're not going to start the business with debt here, right? We're going to start this business as a side hustle, right? We're going to use the tools that we already have, and we're going to say, okay, you need your refrigerant, and your coils cleaned. All your family needs that. So instead of normal place would charge $150, you're going to charge them $100, right? On the weekends, go do 4 or 5 a weekend. That's extra $500 a week, right? I don't know if you can do 4 or 5 on a weekend, but I'm pretty sure you could, right? And you're going to start like that. So now you have $500 to invest in your marketing, invest in your sales, invest in your QuickBooks, until eventually your side hustle is making you more money than your full hustle, right? And that's when you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go off on my own. Now you got to remember that businesses come with insurance, FICA, Medicaid, Medicare, all that kind of stuff. These little extra things. Obviously, why you learn QuickBooks, right? Why you go to those night classes. But so he's making $42K. That's roughly going to be $70,000 after benefits, right? So your side hustle needs to be making you $70,000 before you give up that first hustle, right? So this is how I would do it, right? If my skill is in HVAC, I would be leveraging that skill to a higher standard, to my own business, right? And you got to look within yourself, right? Once you learn things, you got to find people that'll work for you. The best way to find people that'll work for you is straight out of college, right? Brand new people that you can train the way you want it to be done, right? If you get old people, especially if you're starting out young, so say, you know, Tyler's 27 here, so, you know, for a 45-year-old HVAC guy to work under a 27 or 28-year-old guy, like, it's going to be difficult to train that older guy, right? But it'll be easy to train that 19-year-old, 20-year-old. Obviously, if you got well-bodied brothers and sisters and stuff like that, like to go into the business with you, that's obviously better. But this is how you get rich in a non-sketchy way, right? Now, I'm going to talk about some other things, right, outside of starting your own business, right? So, everything's about taxes, right? How much money do you keep, not how much money you make. So we got to decrease our taxes as much as possible, right? And there are ways to do that. Number one, but number two, everything we work for, 15% of that is going to be put away, not necessarily for retirement. You only put into retirement what you need to get rid of your taxes, right? So if you're, say, you know, he's making 42, I think the standard deduction is 12,500, so that puts you at 29.5, and to be in the 10% bracket, you got to be under 23,000, right? So you would try to put 6,000, 7,000 away in your 401k, you know, or IRA, so that you are down in that 10% bracket instead of in the 12% bracket. And you have to do the math there. Is it worth it to put that 7K away in the 401k where you can't have it till you're 59 and a half? Or is it just better to ride it out, you know, whatever, right? But this is the way you start thinking about stuff. And the biggest thing is that eventually you can't work with these anymore, right? And so we want to have leveraged our money in a way that when these fail, we can't use these anymore, you know, that we have a way to survive, right? And investing is the way to do that. And say, even if you just long-term invest into a S&P 500 ETF or something like that, that's better than not investing at all, right? Obviously, I have a better way than that. That's what I teach in life coaching. And obviously, we'll be teaching Tyler that too. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit me up for life coaching. It's really cheap. You know, it's less than $150 a month. So, you know, change your life around for $150 a month. You know, just think about that. But so this is Tyler. He was in HVAC, and we're going to get him to where he can start his own business and become rich within 5 years. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. And I hope you got something out of this video. So if you're in HVAC out there, you know, let's get you leverage. Let's leverage your skill, not actually borrowing money. Let's leverage your skill to get you where you can actually be rich and be what you want to be and live the life you want to live. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.